We have to find room in our contemporary worldview for persons with all that it entails, not just bodies, but persons. And that means trying to solve the problem of freedom, finding room for choice and responsibility, and trying to understand individuality. You can't fight City Hall, death, and taxes. Don't talk about politics or religion. This is all the equivalent of enemy propaganda rolling across the picket line. Sit down, government issued. Shut up, government issued Joe and Jane. We saw it all through the 20th century, and now in the 21st century, it is time to stand up and realize that we should not allow ourselves to be crammed into this rat maze. We should not submit to dehumanization. I don't know about you, but I'm concerned with what's happening in this world. I'm concerned with the matrix. I'm concerned with the systems of control, those that control my life and those that seek to control it even more. I want freedom. That's what I want. What is it that you want? It's up to each and every one of us to turn loose and just shovel the greed, the hatred, the envy, and yes, the insecurities, because that is the central mode of control, making us feel pathetic, small. So we'll willingly give up our sovereignty, our liberty, our destiny. We have got to realize that we are being conditioned on a mass scale. Start challenging this corporate slave state. This century is going to be a new century, not a century of slavery, not a century of lies and issues of insignificance and classism and statism and all the rest of the modes of control. It's going to be the age of humankind standing up for something pure, something right. What a bunch of garbage, liberal, Democrat, conservative, Republican. It's all there to control you. Two sides of the same coin. Two management teams bidding for control. The CEO job of Slavery Incorporated. The truth is out there in front of you, but they lay out this buffet of lies. And I'm sick of it. And I'm not going to take another bite out of it. Are you? Resistance is not futile. We are going to win this thing. Humankind is too good. We're not a bunch of underachievers. We're going to stand up and we're going to be human beings. We're going to get fired up about the real things, things that matter, creativity and the dynamic human spirit that refuses to submit. A self-destructive man feels completely alienated, utterly alone. He's an outsider to the human community. He thinks to himself, I must be insane. What he fails to realize is that society has, just as he does, a vested interest in considerable losses and catastrophes. These wars and famines and shootings and floods and epidemics and pandemics and needles and vaccinations. These all meet well-defined needs. The government breeds chaos. The government has to have it. Depression, strife, riots, murder, all of this dread. And yet we're irresistibly drawn to that in an almost orgiastic state created out of death and destruction. It can be in all of us. Some of us do revel in it. Sure, the media tries to put a sad face on these things, painting them up as great human tragedies, but we all know the function of the media has never been to eliminate the evils of the world. No. The job of the media is to persuade us to accept those evils and get used to living with them as the new normal. The powers that be want us to be passive observers, and they haven't given us any other options outside the occasional purely symbolic participatory act of voting. You want the puppet on the right or the puppet on the left? We've been blinded with this idea that democracy is freedom when democracy is really tyranny of the majority. We need to get fired up about real things that matter. Creativity and the dynamic human spirit that refuses to submit. That's all I have to say. It's in your court.